The Suns have waited 28 years to get back to the NBA Finals. Tonight, they have a chance to make it happen. However, they're going to have to turn things around from Game 5. The Suns fell way back to get only leading the Clippers for a mere 20 seconds the entire game, allowing the Clippers to shoot 54.8% as a team, with Paul George scoring a playoff career high of 41 points. So let me clarify there. The Suns only led for 20 seconds the entire last game. So, Perk, is it time for the Suns to panic now?
Yes, it is. Look, this is why, right? Look, when you have opportunity to close out a team at home up 3-1, you got to do that, especially with this young ball club. And right now, when I'm looking at what I saw in Game 5, I'm kind of scared for the Phoenix Suns. Although I picked them to win the series, the Clippers came out with a y'all babies, I'm a grown man mentality. The way that Marcus Morris approached the game, he was getting buckets, taking them to the low block, turnarounds over the right and left shoulders. The way that Paul George elevated his game on both ends of the floor, being a monster on the glass and also dropping the 41-piece wing dinner. And Patrick Beverly, look, Devin Booker, I get it, right? You had a pretty good game in Game 5. But Patrick Beverly is not going anywhere. He's screaming first team all defense so loud. I'm listening through the TV. I got to put earplugs in my ear, and I'm sitting at the crib, okay? And it's just not going to stop. And what's happening is Ty Lue is making adjustments. And I don't know if Phoenix could figure it out. They went small. They came in with Boogie Cousins. DeAndre Ayton couldn't get the ball on the low block. He couldn't get a feel. He didn't know what to do. He was scrambling on the defensive end. So right now with Ty Lue, the history of Ty Lue, him making adjustments, the best coach in the NBA right now, and the Clippers going home with the way that Paul George is playing, I'm afraid for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, because look, Tyronn Lue has a 10-2 game record when facing elimination. That's the best record among head coaches to face elimination at least 8 times. Would you say he's the best coach in the league and has the best chance to get the Clippers where they need to be?
Yeah, he do. I mean, look, right now, everyone, this is what I'm going to go back to, Charlie. Coaching matter. The voice in the locker room matters. And look, I love Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is like a father figure to me. But coming on First Take, I got to keep it real on national TV. Paul George said he wanted a new coach. He said Doc had him in a box. And guess what? Right now, the way that he's playing under Ty Lue, the way that PG is playing under Ty Lue has this key in his back. To me, it's all about confidence with your players. It's all about having them buy into what they believe in. And right now, Ty Lue has Paul George playing like the old Indiana Pacers Paul George. And it's scary. And this is the reason why I say when you got to have those coaches that these players can relate to, that they're going to listen to, that they respect, and that they trust. And right now, this is what we're seeing between Ty Lue and Paul George is trust.
Monica, do you believe that now is the time for the Suns to panic?
It is not time for the Suns to panic. Not yet, Perk. I picked this series to go 7 anyway, and so I'm not ready to panic. But Perk, exactly what you just said on the other end is why I'm not panicking if I'm a member of this Phoenix Suns squad. You have a coach that has the ability and has created total buy-in, has unlocked his superstars, and you've got someone who should have been a serious candidate for MVP in Chris Paul, who can also do that on the floor. So to me, for as fantastic as Ty Lue has been, and yes, he has the experience in this moment that Monty Williams doesn't necessarily have. When I look at this Phoenix Suns roster, they've got 3 guys that are averaging 16 points or better. They've got balance, they've got continuity, and they too have confidence the entire series. Each way, we've seen adjustments be made, right? And so moving forward, if I'm the Suns, all I'm doing is strapping in my seatbelt, tying up my shoes, and getting ready to get after it, because they have the tools, I think, to match what this Clippers team has been able to do. If you just look at the score from the other night, it's a little bit misleading. This team was closer than that score would indicate, and they're right there. So they get to go back home. They are a great squad. They also have buy-in and are playing with confidence. And to me, we are witnessing the changing of the guard. It's been great to see vintage Paul George return. But on the other side of the ball, you've got Devin Booker, you've got Chris Paul, you've got DeAndre Ayton, who to me has still not gotten enough props for what he's been able to do in the postseason. So if I'm the Suns, I'm okay. I'm not panicking. There's some adjustments that we have to make, but I'm okay.
Well, a couple of things that the Clippers have over the Suns, Monica, and one of them is experience. Marcus Morris has been to conference finals, okay? Paul George is battle tested. Reggie Jackson has been to multiple conference finals when he was a youngin' with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, you have a leader on that sideline, a coach, a player that's beyond the coaching staff, and Rajon Rondo, who is steady walking up and down the sideline, preaching, coaching guys through. And right now, what I'm seeing is that I'm looking at Chris Paul, and since he's come back off the COVID situation, he haven't looked the same. And the history tells us from listening to guys like Jason Tatum and guys that had COVID and had to come out of the COVID protocol, it took them a while to bounce back. And right now, I just don't see the same tenacity. I don't see the same energy. I don't see the same togetherness. Like right now, where the hell is Jay Crowder at? Okay? Jay Crowder has been a difference maker. He was a difference maker in the Denver Nuggets series. He's been a complete no-show on both ends of the floor. You know why? Because the Clippers have a bunch of rough riders. They have grown men over there that's not going to back down from them. And I still, right now, and I'm going to give you the floor, I don't see anyone that's going to stop Paul George or check Paul George the way that he's playing and the confidence that he has right now today. I really don't. The man averaging 31, 10, and 6 since Kawhi been out.
So I agree with you on that, and it has been a tough ask for Devin Booker to guard Paul George. But I don't know that I'm concerned necessarily with stopping him so much as I have a guy on the other side who can match that firepower in Devin Booker if he can stay out of foul trouble and stop picking up them silly fouls 94 feet away from his rim. But I digress. I'm not willing to give it to the Clippers all on experience, though, Perk. I will be honest with you in that regard. As I look through this playoff run, and not just this series, experience hasn't necessarily been what we thought it was going to be. When you look at this Phoenix Suns squad, you know, I've been big on that clutch stat in terms of teams that were willing to show up in the moment. They have the best percentage in terms of clutch wins when we talk about teams that have had 2 or more in the postseason. And so, to me, yes, Jay Crowder has not been the signature Jay Crowder. Even Mikal Bridges yesterday didn't give me the same energy, or the other night, didn't give me the same energy that he started the series with. And there has been a tremendous difference between Cameron Payne running that point guard spot and Chris Paul in his return. However, I am still willing to bank on what you started this conversation with, and that is the ability of a coach to have his guys buy in completely. Is this going to look necessarily the same formula that we have used all season in terms of getting this done if you're the Phoenix Suns? It may not, but they trust Monty Williams. They can make the necessary adjustments. And while I agree that Paul George is on a heater, I am less concerned with that as much as I am Phoenix finding their rhythm again, which I think they can do in spots. I mean, we listened to Chris Paul talk about the way that they close quarters, right? They were right there. You're talking about a couple tweaks. You're talking about a couple stops in terms of slowing runs, and we're looking at a different score in terms of that ball game. So I don't think that is that far away. And if we're going to go to history, as you used for COVID, the Clippers are still shaking history that says they don't necessarily show up.
Well, look, let me tell you this. They don't necessarily show up, and that was under a different coach. We're talking about Ty Lue, and Ty Lue is great at making adjustments. And you talk about Devin Booker with his silly fouls, right? No, they're not silly fouls. If you're watching the game, Monica, you know what's going on? They're picking on Devin Booker. They're finding him in mismatches and they're attacking him. He's picking up fouls because he can't guard a parked car. And this is the same argument that I had with Stephen A. when he said that he was the second coming of Kobe Bryant. And I said, no, pump your brakes on that, because Kobe Bryant played both ends of the floor. He will not only give you buckets, but he will lock you up on the other end. So when I'm watching this series, same thing that happened when T. Lue was down 3-1 when he was part of one of the greatest championships of all time. You know what he did? He searched out Steph Curry. You know why? He said, no, you're going to guard. I'm going to make you spend some of this energy on the defensive end so you don't have all that energy on the offensive end to go back at me. I'm watching him do the same with Devin Booker.
That is true. But there are also some silly ones swiping at the ball, 94 feet away from his basket, involved there. And I'm not going to say Devin can't guard a Perk. I do think that Devin has made some strides in his defensive prowess. He is not Kobe yet. Listen, the same things at the end of the day, I'm standing on it in terms of the Phoenix Suns having the opportunity to make some adjustments. Now, I will say this. If Paul George manages to pull this off and lead his team past this Phoenix Suns squad that I picked to go to the finals, then I will be the first to relinquish all of the, I won't call it hate, confusion surrounding Paul George and whether or not he shows up in big-time moments.
Well, with that being said, Monica, listen, I picked the Suns to win this series as well, but I got to be a realist because I'm panicking right now. I'm not a Suns fan, but I picked them to win the series.
You got to breathe. You got to breathe. I think we're okay.
Well, look, it's going to have a lot to do with how the Suns get started, too. You remember the last game, the Clippers took a 20-5 lead from the beginning, so we'll see what happens there. Also, you both are picking the Suns to win. BPI also picking the Suns to win. They give the Suns a 78% chance of winning the series, a 50% chance of doing it tonight in Game 6, so things look to be pretty even as they stand as of now. Okay, guys, let's keep it moving. We got a lot more to get to because instead of being bummed about Serena's early Wimbledon exit, we are celebrating the Queen's greatness. Is she the most dominant athlete of the 2000s? Plus, guess who's about to come on First Take and take the hot seat? The young phenom himself, Ja Morant, his pick to win the title. Keep it locked right here to First Take.